What's up, boxing fans? This is TBE Boxing back at you again. Today's topic: Jake Paul, the YouTube boxer, ends fight with brutal knockout of Nate Robinson. Let's chop it up and see what it's all about.
Got the money for minutes, pretty bitch, gotta show me titties. This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? That life you for riches, huh? That life you for riches, huh? Pretty bitch, show me titties, huh? And I got the glitzy, run up on me, I'ma make you get it. I'ma make you get it.
Okay, boxing fans. I don't know if any of you guys saw the fight between Jake Paul and Nate Robinson. It was a great fight. Jake Paul basically ended the fight with a brutal knockout of Nate Robinson. And, let's chop it up and see what it's all about. All right, so the fight started off, Jake Paul, Nate Robinson, he kept rushing in. Okay, that's basically what happened. He kept, rushing in. He started off very fast. Went after Jake Paul immediately, no feeling out, no testing the waters. He just went straight for Jake Paul. That's Nate Robinson. He went straight at it. I mean, no warming up, nothing whatsoever. He just came out and started punching. Jake Paul, he basically backed up. Threw some jab. He missed most of them. This is the first round, and the fight went on basically in that vein. Nate Robinson rushing forward, Jake Paul backing up, throwing jabs. Now, Nate Robinson wasn't really paying attention to any defense. Like I said, he just, as the fight started, he just rushed out there and started firing punches immediately. There was a lot of clinching because they kept clashing when, Nate Robinson would rush in. And so the referee had to step in a couple of times. Eventually, as in this type of fight, Nate Robinson, ran into a punch with an overhand right by Jake Paul, dropped him. You can see it there in this little clip that's on the video here. He ran right into a overhand right from Jake Paul that dropped him on the canvas. Referee counted. It would seem like a long count to me. I think he should have been counted out in the first round, actually. But be that as it may, he got up. Referee asked him if he wanted to continue. I didn't think he was in any shape to continue. From what I can see, I think the referee should have stopped the fight right then and there. But I mean, it's a YouTube fight, so it is what it is. So he continued again. Continued to do the same thing, rushing in. Kept rushing in and got dropped again with another right hand. The fight only went 2 rounds, so basically Nate Robinson got knocked down 3 times. The final knockdown, he got knocked out. He went to the canvas actually 4 times, because after the first knockdown he rushed in again and fell to the canvas, but that was a no knockdown by the referee. The referee counted as a no knockdown. So I mean, if we look at the fight overall, Nate Robinson didn't really show much discipline or boxing skills in the fight. Like I said, he just kept rushing in, didn't pay attention to his defense, and he got clipped by Jake Paul. Okay, Jake Paul did show some boxing skills. He showed, it looked like his, whatever type of training or he was doing, it paid off, because he basically, stayed calm, and through the overhand right. Now, as we know, Jake Paul is left-handed, so I don't know if he's left-handed, but he was boxing left-handed, and so the effective punch for a left-hander is the right hand, and that's the punch that was the money punch for Jake Paul, and that was the punch that was the punch he kept throwing the whole fight, the overhand right. And eventually, that overhand right connected, and it was good night Irene for Nate Robinson. So I mean, if it was analyzed, the fight from a skills point of view, and from what we saw, it didn't seem that. I mean, I don't know what happened with Nate Robinson, but I mean, he kept making the same mistake over and over by rushing in. I don't know why he was doing that, if he was, anxious, nervous, or what the situation was. But, what he was doing, I mean, I don't think he was trained to do that. I mean, if he was, then it wasn't the right type of training. I believe that, he needed a bit more training before he can go in there against Jake Paul. You would see him from the way the fight played out, like I said, he kept rushing in, and he basically rushed into the punches that Jake Paul was throwing. So that made the punch even more powerful, because he's rushing in, the punch is coming in, and they clashed. And so in the last knockdown where he got knocked out cold, again, now with that punch, it was actually a 3-punch combination. Jake Paul went in. He threw a right uppercut, a short left hook, and when he threw the left hook, Nate Robinson rushed in again, and boom, he threw the right hand. That was it. That was the end of the fight. He was knocked out. I think he was out before he actually hit the ground. Okay. Now, again, I would like to say that this fight should have been stopped in the first round, probably, and definitely should have been stopped after the second knockdown. Okay, because he didn't seem to know where he was. He kept holding, he kept, in the first knockdown, he kept holding the back of his head. I mean, I guess he was complaining of, getting punched in the back of the head, but he didn't actually get punched in the back of the head. He got punched behind the ear. So, but I think that was part of his confusion. He didn't seem to know what was going on. The referee asked him if he wanted to continue, and he said yes, but he looked like he was in a lot of pain, while he was saying that, So, I mean, the referee didn't really do a good job, I don't think. The referee should have stopped the fight after the first knockdown, okay? Definitely should have stopped the fight after the second knockdown, okay? And, the knockout was the result of him not stopping the fight, when it should have been stopped, okay? I mean, I understand it's a YouTube fight, but that's all the more reason why you should be more careful, because these guys are not really professional boxers. I mean, especially Nate Robinson. That was his first fight. Jake Paul, did a great job. I mean, it was he looked pretty good in there. I mean, he looked a little amateurish at times. Like sometimes when he threw a left hook, like he kept throwing left hands, and when he threw a left hand, he'd put his head down, like like a no look punch. He would put his head down and just punch. I mean, but overall he looked pretty good in there. Much better than Nate Robinson. I would think. I mean, I saw like a lot of videos of Nate Paul. I saw videos of, I mean, not Nate Paul, I said Nate Paul. I mean, I saw videos of Jake Paul training, and he looked pretty good in his training videos. I mean, he was in there training. I looked like he was actually training hard, okay, for this fight. I mean, he did a lot. It looked like he did a lot of sparring. I see him knocking sparring partners down, knocking them out. It looks like, or hurting them. So it looks like Jake Paul actually trained hard for this fight. Okay, and it looked like he was serious, in terms of his training regimen for the fight. It showed in the actual fight itself. We can see that in the fight, Jake Paul was more disciplined than Nate Robinson, and like I said, this was Nate Robinson's first fight, and it showed. He looked pretty amateurish in there, rushing in all the time, and he kept running into punches. Okay, I think after the first round, I was I would think that his corner would tell him to stop doing that, to stop rushing in like that, but I don't know, that didn't seem to happen. Maybe they did tell him, but he just didn't listen to the advice. Okay, and so the knockout was the end result, and it was a brutal knockout to say the least. So overall, it was an entertaining fight. Okay, but again, it looks like Jake Paul, had the superior boxing skills. It seemed that he actually trained for this fight. I mean, I saw some videos of Nate Robinson, before the fight. He was playing basketball, and talking about what was going to happen in the fight, saying that that Jake Paul he's not an athlete like he was. He couldn't play basketball, football, or any other sport, like basically saying that he was more athletic. But I mean, I didn't see in the boxing or in sparring footage. Maybe I missed it from Nate Robinson, but I mean, you're talking about basketball. It's a boxing match. I mean, it's not basketball or football or whatever it is that he was talking about. I mean, what that doesn't have anything to do with what was going to happen in a boxing match. So I'm not sure why he was talking about that Jake Paul wasn't athletic enough to play basketball or football. It's a boxing match. So why are we talking about football and basketball? So again, like I said, I didn't see any sparring footage. Maybe there was for Nate Robinson. Maybe there was, and I missed it. But I didn't see anything. But I did see a lot of sparring footage from Jake Paul, and it looked like he was serious in there in those sparring sessions. Okay, he looked pretty good in the sessions, and he looked pretty good in the fight. So it was an entertaining fight, like I said. But again, it looked like Jake Paul had the superior skills in there. It looked like he actually trained for this fight, and it looked like the training, paid off in this fight. He dispatched Nate Robinson, in the second round with a brutal KO. So I don't know what he's gonna do next, but I'm pretty sure who he's gonna fight next. I thought he was supposed to fight Mayweather, but I don't know what's going on with that. But he looked pretty good in there. I gotta admit, he looked pretty good. He did okay in that fight with Nate Robinson, and he showed some skills. Okay. After the fight, he did I saw him he ran up on the style bender. Okay, MMA UFC fighter Israel Adesanya, the style bender, and they had did a picture together. Here's a picture right here of them together. Stylebender gave him a lot of props, said he did great, which he did do great, and so it was a pretty entertaining fight. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Nate Robinson. I mean, I don't know if this fight was just if it's just a one fight thing, or if he's gonna do this fight again, or if he's gonna call for a rematch with Jake Paul. But I would advise Nate Robinson, to really get some good training before he goes back in the ring against Jake Paul or any other fighter or anybody else, for any other YouTuber for that matter. I think he didn't really show much discipline, skills. He basically just ran into punches, and I think he needs to do some better training. I don't know who trained him, but I don't think. I mean, we can't say the trainer didn't do a good job. Maybe he just didn't listen to the trainer. I mean, that was his first fight, so he's actually a rookie, and so maybe that had a lot to do with the way he performed in the ring. Okay, and so I mean, it could happen to anybody. I mean, if you're not really prepared, maybe sometimes the adrenaline starts going, and if you're not careful, you can be out of control because adrenaline, can be very powerful. I mean, it can make you do a lot of crazy things in there, whether you fighting for real or, fighting in the ring. So it looked like he just kind of, used up all his energy in the first round, burnt himself out. Maybe he couldn't control his adrenaline, and that's why he was rushing in there like he was doing. But again, he didn't show much in there. Nate Robinson, that is. He basically looked like the rookie that he was, and he got knocked out, by the superior fighter, superior boxer. So, but I mean, at least he had the balls to go, actually step in the ring, and not many people can do that. So you got to give him props for that. But it was basically a beat down by Jake Paul, as far as I could see, So it is what it is. I would be interested to see what Jake Paul is gonna do next. Like I said, he looks pretty good in there. He looked like he actually, box. I mean, like I said, he did show some amateurish technique at times, but overall, I think he did pretty good, and I think he had good training, and it showed in the fight. Okay, I mean, just the fact that he kept throwing the right hand against a left-hander is one thing that showed, that's what you do when you're in there with a left-hander. You throw the right hand, and so luckily, Nate Robinson, it looked like he wasn't hurt. I saw him going to his hotel after the fight, and he looked like he was okay, even though he was knocked out cold in the fight. So it seemed that he's okay. I'm glad that, he didn't actually get hurt permanently, or there was no permanent damage, it didn't seem like. So, that's good. And, it was an entertaining fight. So I'm looking forward to really see what Jake Paul and Nate Robinson, if he's gonna actually fight again. I mean, it would be nice if they would do a rematch. Maybe Nate Robinson gets some more training, and maybe he might do better. But I don't know. I don't think so because, like I said, Jake Paul looks like he's very serious about this boxing thing. You can tell by the videos of him, sparring that he was actually serious because he was actually hurting his sparring partners and getting hurt by his sparring partners. So he looked like, actually his sparring looked like fights, you know what I mean? So he was very serious about this fight, and, the end result showed when he actually stepped in the ring. So again, it was an entertaining fight. Glad nobody got hurt permanently. I think I'm going to leave it there. This is TBE Boxing. I'm out.